Hello.
Yup, the boys are here. It's semifinal week. What a time! What a matchup to talk about. That just happened this past week, last night. And let's just dive in. Let's just dive in. All right, so we got Prisoner Nation. Not what you're looking for with the easy schedule. I mean, late. It's 118, but that's a goose egg in playoffs.
Oh,
flop.
well, in a two-quarterback league, that's a flop. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a flop. Nikki's team absolutely boomed. Take us through this matchup for you.
Well,
people want to know.
Well, obviously his team. His team performed 160. They showed up. Of course, the trade that I made with him for Robert Woods in Montgomery. David Montgomery kind of gave me the middle finger and said, that was sad. And then, Julio Jones, his hamstring acted up again, and Gaskin getting COVID didn't help because I didn't plan on playing. I didn't plan on playing Crowder. Didn't plan on playing Jeff Wilson. So those two guys right there, you replace them with Julio Jones and Gaskin.
Gaskin would have been awesome in that game too.
Yeah, exactly. And I probably don't play James Conner either.
Right.
Instead of maybe I might have probably played Crowder in my flex. But,
well, that's before all the injuries. That's what you had.
Julio too.
Right.
Julio too.
Yeah.
That game against the Chargers, that would have been, a great
my quarterbacks both showed up. Lamar finally showed up as old school Lamar, especially after his shit.
The man.
He went and shit and he got later and took off. But at the same time, I traded Nicky Baker Mayfield and he shoved it up my ass. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Baker was,
he bounced me out of the playoffs. And
Baker was cooking.
I went to pick up Hansen because I actually picked him up in redraft too, and I played him in redraft. And Nicky just had a higher waiver than me and played him, where I would have played him over Crowder probably, because Crowder was having had his own injuries going in there, and it's the Jets.
What did Crowder do?
Yeah,
Crowder 2.7.
Yeah. See, the Jets aren't even trying to win games.
That's the thing is
So
early
even
on,
like a
he was
bad
getting me
team,
25 points. Yeah.
Like a normal bad team, like the Raiders. Like the Raiders will be down like 2 scores with 5 minutes left, and they'll be like chucking. But the Jets are literally just running Frank Gore up the middle to just get the hell out of there because they literally don't want to win. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah. If you told me I got 23 out of Wilson and 37 or basically 38 points out of Lamar Jackson, and I'm thinking I'm at least scoring 130, 140 points minimum.
Yeah.
And just
you
can't get a 0.8 out of your running back.
You had 3 starters out, man. So I get it.
Yeah, it is what it is. What are you gonna do? It's just part of the game. Part of the game, and I put together the best lineup that I possibly could this week, and it just
what's interesting too with all the shit that hit you. You talk about the Robert Woods Montgomery trade you guys had, right?
Yeah.
If you never did that and you swapped roles, it was a 20-point difference, and Nicky would have been at 149 and you would have been at 148. That would have been, that just makes it closer in itself, and then you have your other shit. So all your luck went to your poker league that you won this weekend. And
2-time champ, baby. 2-time champ.
So
you're not even good at poker. It's all the
at least that's the biggest pot for you. But
out of all 3. So that's where all my luck went, French.
And then
making money.
A big week there. And then let's talk about the matchup.
The big
Monday
matchup.
night.
I think this could easily be, when it's all said and done, the most exciting game of the playoffs, in my opinion. That game was exciting without fantasy football. That game was exciting without fantasy football. Now you put in fantasy football, and the way everything was lined up.
That game was crazy, man. So he was up 5 going into the game, him being Bubs, and Chubb had 2 touchdowns, and Hunt literally hadn't done anything. It seemed like he was buried, man. Like he was done.
I thought Boyani had it in the bag at a certain point, because I'm like, but then once you start to see that the Ravens, needed to throw the ball, I'm like, all right, Hunt's definitely going to be in there at this point because he's the PPR passing back. And,
Browns,
as soon as it was like 1 minute left and they had to score,
and
it had to be a touchdown or whatever.
Yeah,
like Hunt was like in, like it was like he didn't come off
just
the field, like it was like that was like his drive right there.
Just worst case scenario for Brian.
And he was only down 3 points going into that drive. So once they were in that, I was like, this is over.
And it was crazy. It was crazy too to see him catch that first ball. And then I refreshed the matchup and Bubs was down like 0.1. It was like 0.15 or something. And it's like, wow. Like, and then
he had like a 30-yard touchdown. Yeah.
No, this gets even better because I was laying in bed and I went to go check the score again. And all of a sudden he like, I didn't get to see the touchdown yet. And I was just seeing this, just checking the, whatever.
You were streaming it. You were streaming it.
Yeah. And all of a sudden I see it pop. I was, holy shit. I mean, oh man. And then all of a sudden I was trying to tell Steph, and all of a sudden it disappeared because it disappeared because they were reviewing it.
Oh,
yeah. No. I'm like, oh, then I'm watching it. I'm like, then I saw it happen. I'm like, oh, that
happened to me too.
I saw it now. That's a touchdown.
Yep.
Now
that was absolutely nuts. Bubs,
what a matchup though.
Yep.
What a matchup though.
But I gotta say, both their quarterbacks didn't really show up. So
no, if Brian played Drew Lock instead of Matt Ryan, but you would never do that.
You wouldn't do, you wouldn't have done that. So
now, been there yet.
No, definitely not. Now something fun to look into, which we talked about before here, and we decided to put it in. Now, last week, obviously, Boyani and I played for the number 1 overall, which would loser played this. Now, if Boyani beat me, right? I was up a good chunk, not a good chunk, just like a 5 or 6 probably on Bubs going into that last drive. And it would have been Kareem Hunt needs a touchdown to beat me if that was the roll, right? Mm-hmm. And he would have scored. It would have been crazy. And he would have went up like 1 point against me. But then Mark Andrews caught like 2 balls on the drive, and I would have beat him by like 1.5 points. So Adam would have been out. If we matched up,
he caught like 2 or 3 balls on that drive.
Yeah, it would have been even crazy, just as crazy, I'll say, as a matchup. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It would have been like, wow, he got
just
it.
Just flip flop, and Adam's out. And
it would have been.
That's how important that bye game is, or that bye week.
Yeah.
You know,
but still, it was just crazy.
That is crazy.
Nuts,
and I didn't want to bring it up. I didn't want to bring that up in chat or anything because it was just I didn't want to ruin that moment because that was just a crazy game. But that was something cool that I saw there.
That was wild.
Yeah, that was wild. The game and matchup.
Kelsey, man, that was such an edge too. You know, when you're talking about tight end and
Diggs was the deal breaker. He just smashed.
Yes,
absolutely
Diggs,
smashed.
Yep, he smashed. And Pittman. You know, I like him as a talent, but having him in your starting lineup, I mean,
the game was like as even can be. You know what I mean? Like he had like a bust with Chark. You know, Pittman didn't really do anything.
They each had their
busts.
Diggs just absolutely smashed.
Yep.
And Hopkins did well
didn't perform. Yeah,
Hopkins did solid.
It was just a good matchup.
He had to have been tilting so hard after that Sunday night game because he was up 5 after Diggs finished doing whatever he was doing on the last drive that Buffalo had. And then they were running the ball, and it was like, all right, Pittsburgh's down, 28-10 or whatever it was. And you're like, all right, Big Ben's going to get the ball back, and they're going to have like this bullshit garbage time drive where maybe he'll get a touchdown, and then maybe he's up like 12 or, you know what I mean? And like, it's really good. And the Steelers could not fucking stop the Bills, and they ended up just running out the clock on him. He didn't get that last Big Ben drive that I thought he was going to get.
Even if it was an extra point or two, too, like that's where it's like
he didn't get. It was like 5 minutes left, and the Bills just totally ran it out. You would have thought, all right, they got some timeouts, they'll stop them. They'll get the ball back with like a minute and change left, and they'll do some like garbage time bullshit. And
even if he ran for 5 yards, so he easily could have had another 3 points on top of that.
Man. That was a crazy fantasy matchup. And it was like we were all pretty confident that Brian was going to win, and that was an upset. So that was I feel bad for Brian.
Upset city.
At the same time,
man,
I
was 0 for 2 last week. 0 for 2.
What a matchup!
Technically, Oh yeah. Now
let's
get into let's ready to roll. 2 more matchups, 4 teams.
I will say Adams had a lot of injuries this year too, like Barkley and so forth like that. So he's done a good job, Matt, putting together the team that he has too to compete to 100%. For the playoffs too. So I give him credit there.
Brian said it too. Hunt, he literally just would not move Hunt in the offseason and that won him a playoff game.
It paid off. Yeah. Who would have thought that would have been, crazy. Because we all probably tried to get Hunt at some point for some value. I did.
So many times.
Yeah. So kudos to you for keeping that. But let's dive in. Playoff matchups. We got myself versus Nikki. We met once. I should have looked at the other one. I know we met once, and Nikki beat me this year. So Nikki's 1-0 versus me this year.
Nikki's team has been like on a freaking tear these last few weeks.
He's about to be 2-0.
The last 2 weeks, I think. The last 2 weeks, he's been doing well.
The third week ago was the Fuller week, so I'm not really counting that one because he doesn't have Fuller anymore. So I think it was this week, the previous week, and then the week before that was the Fuller week when he scored like 168 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But Fuller had like 40.
Yeah. He, it's funny. We all thought he was done, Nicky, a couple weeks ago when he played Grizz and he put up 86 points.
Looked like he wasn't even going to make the playoffs.
Out of playoffs, everything, and then he goes and puts up 178, 153.
He got hot.
169. Hot. So he's on fire right now.
His QBs and Monty are kind of carrying him right now. Like even
Monty,
Kamara before this week.
Kamara
before this week, the last 2 weeks was terrible.
Right.
But it's not even like Kamara's been anchoring him. Like so he's got a scary team right now.
Monty has been putting up the usual Kamara numbers, and Kamara is doing the Monty numbers.
The 2 absolutely amazing matchups for Montgomery. The Texans are
100%, 100%. But all right, let's dial into these matchups here. We'll go to myself and Nikki first. Or actually, did we even talk about the second one? We got Sam and Bubs facing off. I don't know what happened in the regular season.
We'll just go one by one.
Yep. So, all right, we got Nikki and myself here. I'll let you guys assess the matchup while I give my 2 cents.
What are your thoughts on this one,
I think he would have had me last week. I would say for myself, I'll let you guys assess it while I BS for 10 seconds here. I think with the quarterback, my quarterback matchups have been giving me that boost in all of my matchups the last weeks, the couple weeks. They always kind of take me above that bar. I think set up, my wide receiver 3, I've had some issues. I'm probably going to ride out Cole Beasley. I don't know how Mike Williams' health is right now. And I think if he could just give me some consistent, everybody else above him, has the boom potential and whatnot. So I think I would just give myself more of like the consistency of the season factor on my team, the ceiling. I don't think my floor is as low. But I mean, I hate even talking about floors in fantasy because any week can surprise you. But I would go myself. I'm pretty confident in myself the whole way here. I have to be. I'm not going to pick myself to lose. So
fair enough.
Chime away.
Yep.
Fair enough.
I will say your quarterbacks. They do have. They're not like the easiest matchups. You have the Saints, the Colts defenses. So granted, it's Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying that thing like about anything against them, but if they're going to have a non-ceiling week, this would be a game they're going to have not their ceiling. Ultimately, this is what I'm saying. Dalvin Cook, amazing back, no question. He's playing the Bears. Aaron Jones, that should be a smash spot against the Panthers. Tyreek Hill, same thing with the Saints. But it's Tyreek Hill. He's one of the fastest in the league, and he's on a tear this year. Calvin Ridley against the Bucs D. The Falcons. What did he end up doing last week? I don't
really like 28. He smashed.
He killed. Yeah, he killed it last week.
He smashed last week. He always smashes when Julio's out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had 8 for 124 and a tutty.
Okay.
Yeah, smashed.
Okay. And he can easily do that with Julio Jones and also, so that doesn't bother me either way. when I'm analyzing. And then Cole Beasley, that's better than Mike Williams. I mean, I know Nicky would rather see Mike Williams in there because I know he played him in redraft, and he that guy. You know what? He's one of my. I used to be such a big fan of him. I think I'm close to just giving up on him as like a fantasy prospect.
Wow. I think his time is coming with Herbert.
I don't know. I mean, why not this year?
He's gonna forever be boom bust. He did. He put up a couple 20-point weeks, but then he goes 4.
You just got to look at the types of targets he gets. He gets the.
I want
targets
somebody
that bring more variance. He gets like deep, long targets. He's not like a short A-dot guy. So he's never going to be a guy that is consistently getting you like 8 for 80. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cole's in there anyway, Grizz.
Yeah. And then Mark Andrews and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, both obviously anybody would love to have them on their team. And, Mark Andrews plays the Jaguars, so he should be getting, 10 to 15 points, you would think. That's what you got. I think he got 12 last week.
You're thrilled if he gets 15. He hasn't seen that much this year.
Oh, I think he just got 12.
Yeah, but I'm saying.
I'm saying and it's against the Jaguars, and then it's going against the Jaguars this time. So he should be getting 10 to 15 this week. Should. And Edwards-Helaire, he should be as a flex 10 to 15. You should be happy with, but his potential to hit 25. So, and then Nicky, he has the Giants and the Lions, his opponents for his quarterbacks. I like those a little bit better. I mean, Mayfield has been fantasy wise has definitely heated up ever since I gave him the Nicky. Go figure. And Tannehill is playing against the Lions. It's not like a scary defense. Kamara, James Robinson, they've been producing all year. Kamara you don't know with him anymore just because of the quarterback situation.
If Taysom's in, you just can't
he steals him. You can't project him. He's still always capable of hitting that 30, 35 point game.
Oh, I don't think he has a 30 point. I don't think he has a 30-point game in him with Taysom in there. They were down 17-0 before they could even fucking blink last week, and he only had 22 points. Like that's
fair.
If you have Drew Brees under center and they get down 17-0, like Kamara is gonna like full on smash, full on. He's catching 12 balls, probably scoring 2 touchdowns. Like they were down. Like that was the perfect script last week for a Kamara game, and he only scored 22, and I think he did have a touchdown. I would say with Taysom under center, I don't think he has that ceiling in him, man. I don't see it. I think he's they're playing the Chiefs. The Chiefs.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're going to be down. Yeah, but they're going to be. I think the Chiefs' offense is so good that you have to put up points.
So you do. We saw it with Miami last week. And Miami put their foot on the gas, but I don't know if he can get there with Taysom though. I don't see it, man.
I mean, if he can get to 22, I guess what I'm saying. See, if you think his ceiling right now is at 22 against just like your average team, get to Chiefs. Just that I don't know. I think he can still put up a 30-pointer. I'm not talking about 40 or anything like that, but
I think 30. If he had 2 touchdowns, I think he could.
That's what I'm saying. Like
get to 30, but I don't think he has like that Kamara ceiling that we're usually seeing.
No,
he did get targeted last week too. I mean, he did have 10 targets last week because they were down, which is a great sign. So
yeah,
I mean, he definitely got better usage last week than we've seen the past couple weeks. But with Taysom in there, I just feel like the offense is a lot different.
Yeah, no, it definitely is different, and it definitely hurts Kamara.
Yeah, it's hurt him pretty bad.
I still think he is an RB1.
He's an RB1, no doubt about it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I still think hitting a couple of, I don't know, it's a little bit harder for him to get to 30, but I still think he can get there with relative scoring a touchdown or 2. James Robinson against Ravens defense. I mean, he's been doing it all year. I hate to bet against them, but it's not like the Ravens defense has been spectacular either. So
yeah, I'm not.
Juju against the Bengals is a smash.
Oh yeah, especially.
I'm not a Sammy Watkins fan.
No, me neither. But I mean, having a player like him in a game like that, especially if you're playing Mahomes, I kind of like that,
right?
Because if it does end up being a Watkins 2 touchdown game, that's good because he has Mahomes. So
and unfortunately for him, he didn't lose Fuller to injury. He lost him to cheating.
Yeah.
So
no wonder he was staying healthy.
Yeah, no wonder he was still healthy.
I mean, this
last week
he
played. Last week he played Hansen over.
Yes.
Over Watkins as well.
Yeah, he's not doing that this week. I think he was just confident that he had, with Julio out and all the injuries that Grizz had. I think he just didn't want to get cute. I think this week, because you have Mahomes and because he knows he's going to have to, swing for the fences a little bit more. I think that's why he has Watkins in there. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to him about it, but I would imagine that was his thought process on that one.
No, that's logical. I mean, I think Logan Thomas has been a sneaky tight end this year.
Yeah,
not
Haskins
somebody I'm excited for,
this week, and that dude just sucks.
Oh God,
that dude's just the stone worst. God, he's terrible.
And Montgomery has heated it up too, so
it's a close one, but I'm still going to go Savini. Just because he's got Hill can win the week by himself and Mahomes. I'm not saying Nicky doesn't have a chance. I mean, we had the same conversation about Bubs and Brian last week that we all picked.
Upset City,
picked Brian, but we definitely said that. I mean, the
#,
outs are there.
Upset City.
The outs are there, for him to get a win.
Yeah, outs are always there in fantasy, right?
No, they're always there for sure.
Upset City. I'm going Nicholas Paterso.
All right.
One word.
I'm still going to take Savini. Just as my prediction. As my prediction of who I think is going to win, but Nicky's team has been on a heater lately, and that's usually what matters in the playoffs.
No, it's definitely to me. It's going with the upset.
Any other thoughts on this one?
No, I like both these matchups in general.
Me too.
Both all four teams, I think they deserve to be there.
Yep. I mean, that game at the end, that Chiefs
game
is going to be so huge. It's just a huge game.
So many players. Yeah, so many players are.
And then he gets that last out with Juju on Monday night against the Bengals. So you really don't know how many points he could put up. 15, 20, 30 against the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and another thing with Juju too is you got to wonder what their offense looks like because they've lost 2 in a row now. And Deontay drops and just keeps fucking dropping balls left and right. And he got benched last week for basically the whole first half. So you wonder if maybe Juju starts to eat into that a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's also a possibility. And, against the Bengals, he had 22 when they played the Bengals last time. They just completely rolled over him. So it's the team that, all of a sudden needs to keep winning games because the Browns are nipping right at their heels. The Ravens are nipping right at their heels, with a few games left to go. They got to win. And they got to start playing better, too. Their offenses looked pretty brutal these last few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has. Juju's been solid, though. It's about the only good thing.
I mean, Deontay's been solid from a fantasy perspective, but from a real life perspective, that guy's a total piece of shit. He can't catch a fucking 2-yard screen pass.
Yeah, the Steelers, they were looking so hot. They were undefeated, and then all of a sudden they don't look too good. But playoffs are still a couple of weeks away for them in real football, so we'll see.
All right, they got Bengals to get back on track with.
Oh
which they should.
They want to play good this week. That they're
division game against a shit. Being Burrow's not there anymore, or he's hurt. It's a shit team.
Oh, he's. They need to play well this week. So yeah, I think that's going to be a great matchup.
And then all right, let's go into the next week or next game.
Boom. We got Bubs versus Sam. Sam coming off the other bye. Bubs coming off probably the matchup of the year.
An
insane game to have in the quarterfinals. Another good matchup. Obviously, Final Four, you're not going to have a bad matchup, realistically.
You shouldn't. No.
You shouldn't. So, I mean, myself, honestly, my opinion in this matchup,
Yep.
I'm going to pick against Bubs, who's, just came off that crazy win. I just think I'll give Big Ben should go to work against the Bengals, but I think go off with the Jets. With Cup, they should just absolutely tear them apart and not have to play football at the second half and just dominate early.
What if it's like last week, like they absolutely kicked the shit out of the Patriots and Goff didn't have to do anything.
Right. And I mean, that's the thing, that could easily happen. That's the same thing that could happen with Juju when we were just talking about the Bengals. They could kind of just smash the ball down their throat and then say, hey, we're over. But in order to get that big lead, you think Goff is going to kind of be peppering, Woods and Cup a little bit, at least if it's for a couple drives. So they have that. I mean, but I'm definitely matchup wise. I'm going to give talent Allen with his legs. I'm going to give the nod to Sam at the quarterback spot. I'm also going to give him the nod at the running back spot with Henry and Eckler. I'm also going to give him the nod at the receiver spot, which is pretty close because obviously Bubs has Hopkins and Diggs. But the Devontae Adams buffer is so massive. It's like kind of when you talk about like the Tyreek thing, it's that just blow up game that most players can't do is right there versus the Panthers. Cup should do well. Who knows with Evans? I think the Evans Chark thing is both. Are they going to hit or miss? I think Evans could be a little more consistent for Sam. Tight end, I'll say Wash with Goddard and Henry. Just because with her, I'll give that. And then Higgins Lockett, I'm going to give the nod to Lockett in the flex. So I think Sam's got the favorable matchup. How anything can happen, obviously. But I'm going to go Sam.
Oh, yeah.
He just has the guy. He just has. I mean, we're looking at like matchups. Like if you're going to look at like players with the highest ceiling in the matchup and the best matchup, he has both of those. So Henry has the highest ceiling of any of these players in this matchup. Maybe Adams, but both those guys are on Sam's team. And the Lions are the worst team in the NFL against the run. They're so bad. So like Henry, we could literally be looking at another like 203 touchdown game from him. And if that happens, you're just not coming back from that, because if Henry scores 40, chances of Adams scoring less than 25 are pretty slim. So there's 65 between two players right there. I mean, it's over. You're not coming back from that. You're just not.
Especially because the rest of his team is going to give him solid numbers, like the percentage of a flop, like a 2-point performance, that's what kills you when you throw a goose egg.
The only way that he could survive a game,
which I have back-to-back weeks.
The only way he could survive a game like that, if Henry dropped 40 and Adams scored like 25-30, is if Goff didn't do much against the Jets because they just kicked their ass.
And neither did Cup.
Which also means Cup didn't do much. Maybe Evans doesn't do a whole lot. Goddard doesn't do a whole lot. Lockett, has one of his games. And Hopkins and Diggs both absolutely smash again.
Chark finds the end zone, throws up 20. You
got Hopkins going up against Slay, who has just been that dude.
He's been hurt though.
Been hurt. He's pretending to be hurt because he's been absolutely fucking roasted the last 3 weeks. This dude is just getting absolutely cooked. Metcalf went for 13 targets, 10 catches, 177 yards. Adams, 12 targets, 10 catches, 121 yards. Last week, Adams.
So Hopkins should smash then.
Yeah, last week, Thomas, 8 for 84. This dude has just been getting absolutely roasted. Even Darius Slayton almost put up 100 yards on him.
And I think Hopkins and Diggs both blow up this week.
Yeah, Diggs is just playing out of his mind right now.
The targets, bro. He sees double-digit targets every week.
And they're high-value targets. He's one of the only 5 receivers in the NFL to have over 100 air yards average per game. They're fucking feeding him bombs. And they're not even really hitting on that many of them because Allen's not that accurate down the field, but he still gets so many targets, and they're pretty high-value targets. Because
you feel like every catch is 10 to 20 yards from Diggs.
His route running is just so elite, man. That guy's
so elite.
That guy's an absolute stud. I like a lot of the pieces on Bubs' team, but Sam just has some serious hitters on his team. I mean, I'm waiting for now that Eckler's back. I'm waiting for the week that Sam just like blows up for 200 because I mean he's got it in him.
Yeah, he hasn't yet, right? 199.
Yeah, I mean this team is just
time.
Absolutely.
That's not
insane.
200, Savini. That's not 200.
Sam, you've
only you.
Oh no, twice.
Has Boyani done it twice?
No,
you've done it.
I don't think there's a lot of people in the 200 club. I was expecting a lot more
Savini
people.
Is.
I was expecting a lot more people to be in that.
I'm 3 of 4
3 times.
I mean,
how many times have you done it overall? I know you did it last year too, right?
I think I only did it twice this year.
I think
you did it twice this year
and once last year, and
so
then
3 times.
Garrett did it. Garrett did it last year.
Oh, you did okay. Yeah, so
I got like 223 and 209 this year. I put up a 206 last year or something.
It's all right. It's nothing special.
No, but I would have thought too, because I remember week 1. Obviously, I said 223. No one's going to touch that. That was like a full lineup.
Hitch disagrees with that one.
And I did disagree. I did disagree, but at the time, I didn't know. I didn't know that CMC and Barkley were both not going to be with us for the whole season. Like those.
Yeah, but still, I mean,
CMC and Barkley can both put up 50.
There's the eye roll.
Right, they can. Yeah, exactly. So maybe someone would have gotten the 200s, but we're not seeing a lot of 180s, 190s. You're seeing it here and there. You know,
but I mean, there's just been so many guys that have been hurt this year. Like I didn't think that we were going to have like it be this bad. I thought it was going to be bad, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad.
Well, we got hurt.
I just think in a 2 quarterback league,
really
like I mean, 225 is a great score. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't think that was going to be like the absolute highest. But like, I mean, and this year, the year
I mean, this year,
2020,
I'm sure it's beatable. It's beatable.
Oh, it's 100%. I mean, it's 100%.
Look at the scores. Yeah, but you're saying that so confident. Look at the scores that I put up when I put up 2.
No, I'm saying within the next 10 years. Within the next 10 years.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. It is beatable. Like if you scored like 245, no, I don't. Think
right. But when I come out,
somebody will score 250. That will happen. That will happen.
And that to me would be unbeatable for. I mean, everything's beatable. Don't get me wrong. But that would be like, okay, it's going to take 10 years to beat.
I mean, 223 might be up there for a little bit. If someone gets it, it's not going to be maybe once a year. Someone's going to get in that. Like you need to be healthy and hit. I mean, look at the point total: 30.5, 38.5, 17, 13, 22, 33, 17.5, 3.9. So you could have that spot. But then I had a 50-point week from 50 points from Aaron Jones. You know what I'm saying? So yes, one person gave me 4, but everybody else was pretty freaking solid with some bluffs. It could definitely be beat. I mean, it can be, yes, but I mean, we're only going to see that a couple times a season. I mean,
all right, well,
what's the
when
average?
When do you think that score will be beat? How long do you think until that score is beat? Because I think next season it gets beat.
You thought this season people were going to be putting that up.
Well, I didn't know CMC was going to be hurt. That guy is the
one guy. In fantasy. So French's team. Go through French's team. And if you put 50 points,
CMC, DK Metcalf, AJ Brown.
French can't put together a starting squad this year. For God's sakes, that guy.
You're telling me a team with CMC, Miles Sanders, DK Metcalf, and AJ Brown can't score 230 points.
Absolutely, it can. I mean, but like, okay, I don't know.
French doesn't even like to play.
I'm just
CMC,
saying, like
man.
that, like
it can obviously happen.
Would CMC even be in the lineup? Would CMC even be in the lineup? That's what you got to ask yourself. He might not have been.
Such a troll, Chris. I love it.
Oh my god.
He didn't play him when he had the opportunity to, so it's possible.
I mean, Barkley too. I mean, Barkley being out is huge. Like these guys, like there's only a handful of guys that have these ceilings, especially running back. Like, and I mean, you need that.
But like, also, I needed that to get to there. You know what I'm saying? I need the 50-point week. You know,
so we literally took like 3 of those guys out this year because Dak got hurt. So Zeke, you know what I mean? He was out, and you know Dak being hurt too. Like Dak was averaging like 35 PPR a game, and he's on French's team too.
It can happen, but through injuries, through bye weeks, and all that stuff, like
which are real,
gonna be hard to hit. Like look at the numbers that were put up this year. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Add 50 points everybody's week. Still 223 is not touched many times. If you just add 50 points, You know what I'm saying? Like the average is 146 points or whatever it was when Boyani did it. So like if you give everybody 50 extra points, you're 190. You still need a 30-point performance to get to it's just 200 I thought 200 was going to get touched more than it did. It didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? So like yes, there's also a lot of monster players on teams.
There's just so many guys that were hurt this year though. Like
there's going to be every year. It seems like there's a lot of guys hurt. It just happens.
Not like this. It wasn't.
I mean, last year was all remember, everybody's like, oh, all the quarterbacks got hurt. Like there's going to be guys going to get hurt every single year. I
think we are going to see more 200-point games next year than we did this year by a good bit.
By how much? I'll text you.
Yeah, how many?
I don't know how many.
Obviously,
I don't know.
It only happened twice. It only happened twice this year.
All right, so I say next season.
And I did it both times.
Next season it happens 5 times.
5 times? I'll bet you we'll shave our head.
Oh,
same.
Yeah, all right.
I'm in on that. Yeah. But so I mean, man, I don't know. Like, you need to smash. You need players. You know, only a select few teams can do it. And you need it all to work out. Like, you need multiple players to hit that.
You need to exceed.
Don't get me wrong. I can easily, in your mindset, look at all these players and tell me they can't blow up. When I go to that week of my 223, I look at it and I say, Dalvin Cook only gave me 17. He could have gave me 30. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So on Mark Andrews could have gave me 15, 20, you know, like if he scored. So like, yeah, that's ceiling. Yes. 250, but that's like every player peaks. You know what I'm saying? Like a player already gave me 50 points that week.
That's the point though, is that I'm saying that every player does not have to peak. You need the one guy. You need the one guy to score 45, 50. Like that is like the one. Like look at Tim.
No, because look, Aaron Jones gave me 50 that week, right? I also had a 33 point in there. I had a 38 point in there, and I had a 30. So like you need,
but the 30s,
a lot of hits.
The 30s are not as hard to come by as the 50s. Obviously 30 is like a great score. Don't get me wrong.
No, but to put 2 30s and pretty much I probably had 2 30s, a 40, and a 50 that week.
And it's 3 wide receivers, so the receivers are more likely to boom. If the running back is the one getting the 50 points, then that's when you're really cooking, because the receivers are much more likely to hit that 30-point score than the running back.
So Tyreek should have put up a 40-point week instead of 22 that week.
I mean, he put up 60 one week. Like, you know what I'm saying? These receivers just have access.
So those don't. How many times a season does 40 plus happen? 10 times, right? 10 times
for a fantasy player?
No.
How many times does that happen?
How many players?
40 fantasy players scored 40 plus.
How many times does that happen?
I'll tell you right now,
including quarterback.
Maybe 10. Don't even count quarterbacks.
You can't count.
In the meantime,
I'll find out in the next 5 seconds.
I'm gonna go with my prediction of who I think is gonna win. You kind of glossed over that.
Oh yeah.
Hashtag upset, baby. Going Kelly Callaways. I'm going double upset. I am going wild this weekend.
Oh, we got less than a minute left. It's going to cut us off.
Wow.
All right. Well, Hitch, do you think you're going to get a 200-pointer next year? You're going to outscore.
I guarantee it.
It's not as easy as you think, man, or else teams would have been doing it. Like,
I guarantee it happens.
I know, bro. I think the points I scored this year will be the most